NFT ideas for your e-commerce business. This is huge, guys. Let's get right into it.
Let's go.
What's up, everyone? Sean Azari here. I'm with Matt SKOPAK.
What's going on, everyone?
Welcome to Deep Dive episode 53, where we usually dive into businesses and dive into their marketing and business strategies such that you can take these tactics and implement them into your business. But today we're going to talk about NFTs. Matt, what is an NFT?
So let's start basics. NFT stands for Non-Fungible Token. And what it really is, it's let's say a hybrid formation. It's a type of blockchain formation which gives someone ownership of something. And that's going to be kind of what we dive into. I like to tell everyone, think of a NFT as like a mini computer. And we'll explain more.
Yeah, and before even getting into that, Matt's been going to multiple conferences this year, networking and building out your own NFT or partnering up with people to build out your own collection and something in the Metaverse.
I've been in the space for now probably about a year, so I'm helping my company at least enter the crypto space and finance. I've been to NFT NYC. I've been down in NFT Art Basel, Miami. I've helped launch multiple tokens and now help in the Metaverse. So I have maybe haven't been in it for 6-7 years, but I've been in it deep for the last year. So feel like I have a good understanding and a good grasp of all different types of crypto, but NFTs.
Yeah, and then earlier this year, with my art business, people were like, "You got to get into the NFT space," and I was just really confused. And probably in the last 4 months, or actually 3 months, I started really understanding it, because at first I was like, "Oh, I'll just drop my art, mint it on the blockchain, and people will just buy it." But I didn't understand how it could be valuable if I'm not a renowned artist. How could it be valuable to the buyer, such that if they sell it later on, can they sell it at a higher price? I just couldn't grasp that concept and the whole concept of utility, what's a roadmap and so forth. So that's something maybe we'll maybe dive into a little bit, but essentially we're going to give you guys ideas, because I believe every business at some point is going to get into the NFT space, because there's so many ways to leverage it, and it could actually help you grow your business in certain ways and give you so many awesome ideas. And it's a great marketing ploy as well, I would say.
Absolutely.
You're diving into a new community. Essentially, this is how I like to give an analogy. You're basically giving an NFT, essentially is almost like you're giving shares out of your company.
Could be.
Right?
Yeah,
that's how you could essentially look at it.
It could be one form of what an NFT can be used for, yes. And let me explain what Sean means by that. So think about this. You're starting a company with 5 friends. And usually what you'll do is you'll sign a legal contract saying the 20% ownership if you split equally between those 5 friends. However, this time around, instead of going the legal way and talking to a lawyer, you create basically a NFT and basically either NFT or a token behind it, and you give 5 tokens out to each holder. And now each representation of that NFT, 5 NFTs are out there, that representation, the utility of that NFT is 20% ownership in this company you just started. So instead of when you try to sell this company, having to do legal work and all that, you can just sell this NFT for whatever amount that business is worth, or that pro rata what percentages of that business is worth. So that's kind of just the conceptual from that standpoint of like how an NFT could be used. I mean, I foresee in the next 10 to 20 years, NFTs will put a lot of lawyers out of business, a lot of custodials out of business, because it really uses a contract to make sure that what is supposed to happen happens.
So when you build out this contract, you're building out in such that if they buy that NFT, they're building out what is a set of rules.
It's basically an automated set of rules that happen based upon the NFT. So they would say, I have this ownership in this NFT. If now I'm going to sell my business, I don't want to be a part of the business anymore, and someone else is wanting to buy it. So if they send me whatever the asking price is, that NFT gets transferred now to that individual. And now they have ownership in that business for 20%, provable by the blockchain and by that NFT.
Okay, I actually want to talk. It kind of reminds me of, I believe, and this is what I see, one use case for NFTs is crowdfunding, right? For your existing business, right? Let's say if you want to expand on a certain way, maybe if you want to, what I can relate to is like you want to buy a 3D printer, for instance, right?
Yep.
And, back in the day, or just even to current day, you could set up a crowdfunding campaign,
Absolutely.
right? A video basically asking for money, but you're creating this video that's like, hey, look, for anyone that invests in or gives me, look, you could set up tiers, like people that put in $200, you'll get this. If you send me $500, you get this. $1,000, you'll get the product that's part of the deal, plus something else, right? That's in the crowdfunding world. In today's world, with the NFT space, so if you build out this collection, a collection is represented with artwork, correct?
Correct.
And you'll see a lot of people talking about like, oh, why there's 5,000 pieces in this collection? Well, within these 5,000 pieces, there's a thing called utility, which we briefly explained, which is basically the perks of what you're going to get if you purchase NFT. So if your business decides that, hey, I want to raise money, you come out with 3,000 pieces at what, 0.02 ETH, or let's just say in US dollars.
Whatever you would like.
Yeah, like $500, and you sell 50% of that, which is your roadmap. You could say, hey guys, if I sell 50%, I'm going to promise this because I raised money now. You raised money, capital, and now you can do it, correct?
Correct.
For your e-commerce, if you guys are thinking of ideas now, instead of just crowdfunding the traditional way, think of how you can do it in the NFT space, because now it's making it a lot more interesting. It's now giving back to your community because they now have a contract. They can't duplicate that. That's another beauty of it, right? You can't duplicate.
Exactly. Yeah. You have almost a tangible. You have a token, a non-fungible token that proves ownership, and it's proven on the blockchain.
Yeah. So any crowdfunding, I think moving forward, I believe it's going to be on the NFT space. So
I think any ownership in the future is going to be through NFTs or through some type of token or whatnot, probably an NFT to show ownership or something. Because think about it this way. This is how I look at it. I'm from the hedge fund space. Say you have a hedge fund, private equity fund, and you have 50, 100, 200 investors in it, and then you have profit and loss, some kind of amount of money that is distributed down into all those different investors. If now there's tokens out there, though your ownership into this fund or into this private equity fund is based upon this ownership, we know a profit and loss. If I need to allocate down $10 million down to all these investors, that will automatically trickle down through the NFT ownership. And that's an easier way to do it than how we do it now in the space. So that's just one instance of coming from my finance background, how it can be done. But there's so many things that can be done for businesses in terms of ownership, like we talked about, crowdfunding. So, and we're going to talk about a couple more different ways that you can include NFTs to make your business stand out.
by the way, guys, these are ideas, and it's like there's so many use cases, and it's exciting me, but it's very, very overwhelming. But if you have the right, the relationships, I believe, the partners. I was just talking to Matt about this, like as I'm building up my collection, and just to give you actually context, the utility I'm thinking of, just to like, I'm like, or I'm having a meeting with these guys that are, they build out the website for just to mint out, start to mint on your own website. They do the pre-saling, the whitelisting. They help you set everything up. You could do it on your own, but there's also great to have these partnerships.
We should probably tell pre-sale is basically like an ICO where people can buy it before it goes on the market, and the whitelisting of a wallet. Whitelisting means it's basically like an unlocking of a door. So if your wallet is whitelisted, and think of wallet like an account number. If your account number has access to enter the website or the minting, you will be granted a pass-through to be able to put your ETH in or your money in to then create the picture that you will have ownership of. So that's what, when people say whitelisting, it's basically you're given the ability to access the application or the function to create the picture that you will have ownership of. And
correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, whitelisting, I've been trying to get a few whitelists on different NFT projects, but essentially it's a benefit for the creator of the NFT plus the buyer in this way. And then correct me if I'm wrong. One, you create this whitelisting because you know the people that are whitelisted, they actually interested in their project. They actually want to buy in, rather than when you get into the public market, these people could just be trading for a quick buck. Second reason, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is you're almost guaranteed that you'll make money back after you spend all that money on the gas fees. Like you have a market that's interested in buying.
Yeah.
If your whitelist is, already sold out, you have already people that are interested, that you'll make your money back, rather than going to the market, which I actually have a collection just to test things out, where I paid $500 in a gas fee and I priced it at 3 ETH for a custom canvas. it's expensive
Very expensive.
unless you do the whitelisting.
No, of course. I mean, the whitelisting it all is very expensive when you're on the Ethereum network. If you don't know what that is, when you say gas fees, think about it. It's a fee that they have that Sean, whoever's trying to create these pictures, has to pay to create these NFTs so that people can buy it. So that's what gas fees are, and they're expensive. They can be $200, $300, $500 per NFT.
Guys, if we get too technical, because
that's why I'm trying to dumb it down.
Yeah, because this is our first.
This is second nature to us, but I understand because I was in your shoes where I'm like, what the hell are these people even talking about?
Agreed. And just because, I mean, and one of my advice, and just kind of digressing, becoming an investor or a collector, don't buy into FOMO, trying to just get into space right away. That's where you're going to get burned. There's a lot. It's basically a gold rush right now. But if you really understand the concept of NFTs, which is, again, I'm learning, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much there that we can do, or for an e-commerce business as a creator, anyone can do right now. It's amazing because a lot of these YouTube videos that I've seen or people are talking about is like how to make money. It's
all about the whole space. 95%
of about how to make money.
People that are just trying to make money, which for me, I think the art is cool. I don't think that's the future uses of NFT from my business side and from the finance side. I believe that NFTs have really cool functions and coding and abilities that separate itself as a technology that it can be used by businesses to efficiently and securely do processes that are currently inefficient. So that's why I'm looking forward to the next 5 years after this art run, because I mean, digital art is cool, but like any type of art, it's dependent upon two things: scarcity and community. And art, the value of art is dependent about how many there are and about what the community or what the public believes that art is worth and how scarce and wanted it is. It's supply and demand. A Picasso painting could be worth $1 if no one really cared or thought about Picasso. But everyone known he was one of the best artists out there, so that's why it's worth millions of dollars.
It's different there.
So it's scarcity and basically and community, public view community is what creates all pricing and, I guess, value at this moment.
Matt, and this is an open question before we get to the next use case, is what I'm figuring out. It's not about the art anymore, or it hasn't been really.
It's all about the money.
Well, I'm talking about the NFT case. Mm-hmm. When people are buying NFT, people used to say it's just, it's a great way for artists to make money and so forth. But
could be. But if they've done it the right way, using one of the great functions of the NFT is royalty. You can build in royalties into the NFT.
Do you want to be that? That's your next. That's another use case right there.
That could be another use case. One of the great things about NFTs, which I think are awesome, you can build royalties into this NFT. And what that means is if you want to set a 5% or 8% or whatever the royalty might be, every time that NFT is sold, that means the original artist will receive some type of revenue from every sale or transaction of it. So let's say Sean creates a painting that sells for $10,000 on the initial one. Okay, he made that $10,000. Say that painting then in 3 years, it's a physical painting, but it has an NFT that is tagged along with the picture to prove authenticity, that this is the actual painting that Sean Azari created. All right. So now it's sold. The NFT is sold with the painting for $100,000.
So they get the physical object and an NFT.
Physical object, and then the NFT comes along with it. Think about like a watch. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. So,
by the way, so now if you sell watches, you could do that.
Absolutely. There's so many great functions of it. There's fine art, watches, clothing, or like Louis Vuitton bags. Anything that's very expensive and you need to prove like it's real. It would be a great asset for NFTs or a great supply, like a great vehicle. So Sean, that painting sells for $100,000 now. Sean, if his royalty was 5% on that NFT, will make $5,000 on that secondary purchase, which in the real world, how this has always been done for hundreds of years, Sean would be shit out of luck. He would make $0 from every transaction thereafter. Now, NFTs give the ability that the original creator can still have a revenue stream. And like, what other business is this sound like exactly basically perfect for that's been a problem for the last 15 years? Music, right? Music has been huge, that all these artists' songs are getting basically on LimeWire, on now. They've basically been getting screwed. So I think NFTs, I don't know how it's going to be done, how every time it's played or bought, we'll get a royalty, but
So I already know the answer to this, but I want to kind of ask the questions. So for anyone listening that doesn't understand, how does the royalties work? Like, where do you set it up? Is it before you launch, like before you go to a marketplace, or is it like
it's when you
can you change it, or
when you create the NFT, you will then set the royalty function of it. I believe I've never minted an NFT. Obviously, art is not my specialty. I like more of the business aspects, but you should be able to set the royalty percentage, right?
you do? Yes.
I think people usually do 2 to 8%.
So 10% is
2
on
to
average.
10%.
It depends.
I think it's
You could do whatever.
10% actually is average. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And basically, when you're creating the NFT and like all the functions of it, there's certain areas of the NFT that you fill out. You can set the royalty, and then once you mint it, though, it is locked in.
And the thing is, and why people will sell it and how it becomes more valuable again is if people are valuing that utility behind it, is the perks behind it. There's gonna be more demand because it's so limited. You created this limited collection, and then like I like to even say this example. It's not a use case for the e-commerce business, or it can be. Well, let's actually use case for another one. What if your e-commerce business now throws a party 4 times a year, and this party is so sick, everybody's talking about it. It's the party in Montauk in the Hamptons, the 4th of July party that's only exclusive to these NFT holders, right? Where every celebrity is there that everybody wants to see, but people hear about it the next year, the year from 2 years from now, and that demand, they're like, oh, how do I get in? Well, you need that NFT, man. Sorry. Like, how do I buy that NFT? Well, I'll pay 4 times the amount you spent. Fine. Sell that NFT, right?
Yeah, right on your phone.
Right? And then the royalties go back. Like, if he sells it 4 times the amount, the original creator gets a percentage.
Correct.
Who's the person throwing the party.
Yep.
So he's always making money. So that's another idea. Like, if you want to throw event spaces or pop-ups, there's ways of doing that. And if people are talking about it, if you know how to create that experience, this is another outlet to help make money for your business, but also create an experience for your community, this is the whole thing. What's about is building that community and how you could provide more value to those users.
That's why you see a lot of people that already have well-built communities. It's a lot easier to create NFT projects than then like become very successful because they already have the communities. The hard part is creating that NFT project and then building the community at the same time. That's the very hard part. Another great capability, I would say, March says the 3rd or 4th, or you can create NFTs for your loyalty programs for e-commerce. So you can create, say, 100 NFTs, or maybe your top 50 customers, create an NFT that gives them enhanced features or great limited release products. So your top 50 customers saying, thanks for being a great customer. Here's this NFT. What this NFT gets you is 4 times a year, we're going to send you a special box of your company's products. And then you also receive 20% all off using this code in your NFT moving forward or something like that. But that's just another idea. Like you can create exclusivity for your best customers or a loyalty program, and it can be done through NFTs.
So I would say almost like subscription boxes as well, right?
Yes.
So let's say, like a lot of these brands, if you're doing a subscription-based model, right, if they purchased your NFT, they could get a whole awesome, like a package deal of like products that they're interested in. And it's higher, it's a much higher value than what they purchased with the NFT for. But everyone wins there because the creator, the brand or the business raised the money to do so for a whole year. They're going to get, the buyer is going to get these products at a scheduled map or whatever it's scheduled. That's where I'm seeing it too. I'm going to correct, like, do you see that? Like, it's going to be like more of a subscription based? I mean,
who knows? It's still way too early to try to figure out where this NFT space is going. All I know is art's here now and art is popular, but
it's again, it's not really the art. It's not the art really. It's the art is just like, it's almost like, the art is like, when you remember like these, not like an Amex black card, but there's like these card back in the day.
Yeah, black art.
Black card, like you get these membership benefits. The art is what's on the card. That's the art.
Yeah, but right now people are just 95% of these people running around creating these NFT projects. They're all about the money, and it's going to move past that space where it's just about money, and it's actually going to be about like it's going to be about a true use case or utility. Everyone says utility. that it's going to be about there's a problem about inefficiency or there's a problem with ownership, with like people faking or forging things. That is what NFTs are good at. Like, you have to put what NFTs are good at in terms of being efficient, computers, smart contracts, ownership, proof of ownership. You have to use these NFTs for problems that align around those certain things. And that's where I believe the future can be. It's evolving right now, and this is the first stage is art, because it's the most easily capable right now for NFTs. So I think there'll always be a part art, but I think all this craziness and bubbles and fucking things selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars, that will soon fade into the dusk, I would think.
Let me ask you this. What about limited product drops? You know how people still do? They wait in line. Well, not anymore. Actually, you could just buy it online or reserve it online. But for the iPhone, back in the day, you wait in line. Or when there's like a new sneaker drop, people are standing in line.
Outside, yep.
What if that brand created an NFT collection where if you hold that NFT, you're no matter what guaranteed those sneakers?
Yeah, I think it's genius. And think about the reason why. What usually happens on those releases? I've never been a big sneaker guy, but I know from people I've talked to that either like when sneakers release, or think about tickets releasing for a concert, there's some program or like company out there that has a program or a RoboCop, like some kind of thing that basically buys all the tickets up on site.
Bots, yeah.
So the bots that no one else can get them, right? And then they resell them so they can make a profit. Now with NFTs, you basically, that arbitrage situation, that using bots no longer exist. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
It still exists, but this is going to help phase it out.
it's going to help phase it out. But like, you're going to see a fashion. I think fashion's huge as well, especially this metaverse play. Like if it really becomes into
What's
reality.
the metaverse? I know what it is, but let's explain a little bit briefly.
A metaverse it's basically a virtual reality world where it is, what's the best way to describe it? There's numerous metaverses out there. So let's not think it's a one metaverse. There's the biggest metaverses right now are Decentraland, Somnium Space, the Sandbox, and there's probably 2 or 3 other out there. And then we know that Facebook is trying to create one, and then some other individuals are trying to create it. But basically what they are virtual worlds, depending on spaces. Some have like 3,000 to 5,000 parcels. Some have 100,000 parcels. And what parcels mean is it's a measurement of land. So think about a square of land, maybe in the metaverse that's 100 meters by 100 meters. And now you buy this piece of land and you can create whatever you would like on this land. So you could build a house using whatever the coding or the construction app is within that metaverse. You can buy a house, you can buy a park, you can build a park, you can build whatever you would like. And then some people are even building businesses to sell other things in the metaverse and creating revenue streams. That's basically the future again, and this is all using NFTs again.
It's a very, very interesting world. What I've been seeing is, when you build this like plot of land, like you could have your own storefront. Like you could actually, if someone owns a land that is going to be right next to a concert that everyone's gonna be heavily involved. I'm talking about, and this has been happening. This already happened, right? I think Travis Scott had something in the metaverse where people are tuning in. It's almost like kind of like a Facebook Live, but it's like in the world. But am I correct?
It depends. It could be VR, it could be AR, or it could be on your computer or a cell phone sometimes.
Yeah. So you're like in that land, right? And if you own a land, or if you're renting out that piece of land from the owner, you could actually display your product. So it's a branding ploy in that aspect. Mm-hmm. So let's just say if you had it's like just basically advertising. Like it's displayed advertising. So as they're walking to the event, they're enjoying it. They're networking in this world. I know it sounds crazy, guys, if you're not really familiar. If you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this not gonna
give us 1 minute and you won't think we're crazy? I promise you.
So, but then you're like, you're in this event and you look to your right. You're like, oh my god, look at that cool watch. Like, what is that? And you're like, it's another brand. And by the way, people get excited because we're in a new space when they see new brands being involved in that. Because they're, these are like they call enthusiasts. They're in love with it. They're excited that they're seeing these other brands involved, and they're actually going to support you in that aspect. You're like,
I would say, when you go to Times Square, when you go anywhere with billboards or things like that, why do those billboards cost $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day? So the reason is because the amount of eyeballs on those billboards, right? So they're creating projects and spaces like this in Sandbox. They have Smurfland, they have Care Bears Land, which are basically, think about amusement parks where people in the future, there might be 10 million people going to that amusement park in a month. So if you own a space or a parcel or a land next to that space, where are these people that are going to be walking by or in this park? So what's the difference between being in the metaverse and having those eyeballs or in Times Square? Because it's the same thing. However, you don't need to be in Times Square, though, to have people view your brand. They could be in their living room or at their computer and have eyeballs on your brand. So that's one thing. To me, it's eyeballs.
And also, if you know, and you could see this, and when you're like looking to rent, I haven't seen the renting aspect, but if you buy a land, you see, if you know that, let's just say a concert holder, like I don't know, what's Post Malone has this part of the land, and you know that your product would benefit or actually interest the people that are interested in that artist,
yeah,
right? You want to be near that person, or where they're going to hold different things. Or if you're a beverage company, and if you know that, let's just say, I don't know if this actually exists, that there's going to be a biker tournament, like what's it called, stump bikes or like BMX bikes?
Yeah, BMX.
BMX bikes. Maybe you want to be that energy drink right next to the BMX bikes, right?
Yeah, of course. Guys, it's going to get to a point.
Because then your audience is there.
Yeah, of course. And it's going to get to a point, guys. This is what, so VR means virtual reality, so you have a headset on. AR is augmented reality. And what that means is, so I have a cell phone here. What you'll see, and what's going to probably happen, I would say about 5 to 10 years, you have the cell phone. There's going to be a light or something that's going to come out of the cell phone that's going to display a human, or it's going to display some type of picture or game. And you are going to be able to watch a concert, someone performing live on your cell phone in augmented reality, right here popping out of your phone. And there's going to be 1 million people all over the world that are watching this performance from augmented reality coming out of your phone or whatever object that would be. And all those people are probably going to need NFTs to be able to see that, just like a ticket. So that's I think where the future is going to be. It's connecting people to events, and you're not going to have to be in the physical space. And with COVID and with things just getting more, not dangerous, but with COVID and more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for?
People are more comfortable staying home. Like more of like
comfortable staying home, but like, yeah, exactly. Things are changing rapidly that people are more comfortable doing things virtually.
Plus, a lot of people are introverts, right? And this is helping that out. People love staying home and building that experience. Remember, it sounds crazy, guys. Obviously, I mean, it may sound crazy now. It sounded crazy to even both of us. Earlier even this year.
Yeah.
It just doesn't sound like, what the fuck? I'd rather be out networking rather than putting on fucking goggles or seeing like what Matt just explained, and seeing a concert there. It sounds crazy, but people like it. It's cool because it's the experience. It's literally, the more I'm looking into it and seeing like what is actually happening, it's making sense. It's making sense. Like, it's almost like, imagine you're like in a virtual store. Because first of all, I hate going to the mall. I don't know about you, Matt. Do you like going to the mall?
Like once a month,
Yeah.
if that.
I hate going to the mall, but you know what? If I'm sitting home and going to the mall and meeting up, a few chicks there, I'm like, oh wow, look, I see like hot girl over there. Oh, my favorite sneaker shop there. I'm just walking around, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, all right, let me just shop. I'm seeing a clothing store that I like. All right, I'm gonna go in there, my little VR world. And again, it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna pick it out in my VR world. And while I'm picking it out, if I buy, right, it gets delivered by tomorrow, just like Amazon, right?
Probably.
That's what's happening now because people don't want to move. Fortunately, people don't want to move. Like, it's just like, and that's how people want to network. There is a huge population and it's not only just that type. It's not the introvert crowd. It's just getting more and more. It's basically, we're creating video games. People love video games. People like having fun. These are just fun, awesome things rather than being tedious and wasting time. This is going to help save time if it's,
Think about Instagram and Facebook too. Why did they get so popular, especially among kids? You can display you can basically display whoever you want to be. You can create a new individual from what you are in the real world. So like the metaverse is just like another enhancement on Instagram and Facebook. You can create avatars. You can be whoever you want in the real world. So if you really want to get an understanding of what it is, I recommend the movie Ready Player One. No affiliation. I watched it. It gives you kind of like a extended future view of what it could be like. Hopefully nothing like that, but
yeah. Guys, I hope you liked this episode. It's very interesting. I believe it's going to be very impactful for you guys because it's as we're learning it and really diving into it, building our collections. I really wanted to break this down to you, and it's just these ideas. It just really opened my eyes as of like, oh my God, I fucking figured this is what it is. It makes sense because no one, and I was telling you this, Matt, no one really could really break it down to me. Like even 2 months ago, okay, you just put the art out and you just make money. That's great. Like what was utility? What was roadmaps?
People
How could it benefit?
love using buzzwords.
They
People
do.
love using buzzwords like, oh yeah, you just need the utility, or like, yeah, just get an NFT. Like, and then you're sitting there being like, what the hell are these people talking about? And you get scared off. But
So before we end this, I want to break down just or like a summary. Utility is basically what the perks are behind your NFT, whatever your art piece is. It could be anything, or it could be a video. It doesn't have to be an art piece. It doesn't have to be a JPEG. It could be a video of just you. Like if you could be a music artist that you have a great voice, right, and you want to sing, and you put that little segment out, and you put that out there. And you could say, hey, look, if I sell 50% of if I put out 2,000 of these, and if I sell 50% of it, all of you people will be on my first concert for free. One aspect. So that's utility. If there's anything else on the utility side,
no.
That's a good breakdown. Roadmap is your vision. Think about your roadmap is your vision. So if we reach this goal, if we sell 25%, we will do this, and this is what you guys will get.
It's basically a business plan.
It's a business plan. And you're basically saying, and it's all visible. You can't lie about that. So if you sell 25%, your community, your buyers will get that. So you're giving back. So it's not like when you're building up a following in the Web 2 version of social media, we're building up a following where, the only person that's benefiting and monetizing is the creator and the brand, not the person actually following you. The Web 3, the NFT space, is now everybody's winning because now they're like, oh, I'm interested. I love your idea. I'm following that and I'm buying into that, right? You're in that community now. We're all like, and then you're like, all right, now how can I help that brand creator reach that vision so we hit that mark? Well, let me just invite people to Discord. Let me share. Let me tell my friends about it, and then everyone's winning there. So that's your roadmap, right? Mm-hmm. What else I could say as a good breakdown of these high level metaverse land? I would say
Virtual lands.
Yep. Gas. When you hear gas, is basically the amount. Like how much it costs to actually mint your
It's not mint. It's the amount of money that you need to have to be able to perform a function, whether it's to trade, whether it's to buy a piece of art or buy an NFT, buy a token. So the way I like to always explain this to people that are not familiar with it, it's like you're going on a road trip in your car and you fill your car up with gas, right? That's buying into some kind of currency, ETH. So you want to make sure that you always have enough gas in your wallet, whether it's a digital wallet, it holds Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever it could. One wallet can't hold all of them, but that's a story for another day. You want to make sure you have enough gas for that transaction to go through successfully. If you run out of gas midway through your road trip, the transaction gets canceled, just like your road trip. So that's the one thing people get confused about in the very beginning. So gas is basically just exactly like gas in the car. It gives you the ability to make a transaction or go where you want to go, and you have to have enough gas to get where you want to go.
And it's basically not the processing fee, but it's the network allows you to do.
It's basically the fee to process something on your network.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think basically good terminology. All right.
Yeah, we threw a lot of things out there. So
yeah, guys, I hope we didn't lose you there. Again, I know it's gonna be super helpful. I know in a year from now we're gonna see this. Really believe we're gonna see a lot of businesses, merge themselves into the NFT space.
Yep.
So it's huge. Get a head start. Start thinking about it. We're in the process of doing it, and we're happy to share our experiences, just like we did right now. And then eventually, maybe 10 episodes from now, we'll talk about even further aspects, but this should get you to start thinking about it. The ideas are there. Now how can you implement that in your business? It'll be interesting to see. So if you guys have any questions, Leave it in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, give us a 5-star rating, review. If you like the episode, share this with your friends that are involved or thinking about getting involved in NFT space, or perhaps that they're starting a business that they'll like our previous content as well. So, and you can tweet at SKOPAK or at Sean_Azari. And we will see you next week.
Later, guys.
Peace.